I am proud to announce this year the presentation of our 4th Brigadier General William W. Spruance Legacy Award. Before Brigadier General William W. Spruance passed away in 2011, he served on our board and was a dedicated supporter of the National Guard Educational Foundation's mission to tell the Guard story. One of the finest Delaware Guardsmen, thank you. He generously donated hundreds of thousands of dollars, his own time, and his own boundless energy to the foundation and to the telling of the Guard story. His unequaled devotion to the National Guard Educational Foundation inspired us to name the award in his honor. The Brigadier General William W. Spruance Legacy Award recognizes individual contributions, service, and devotion to the National Guard Educational Foundation mission, that of telling the Guard story. This year, I'm delighted to present the 4th annual award in recognition of unparalleled support of the National Guard and of the Educational Foundation. The chairman of American Defense International Incorporated, he has been immersed in defense and security matters since 1990, when he was appointed Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Army for Reserve Forces and Mobilization. A veteran of the Army himself, he served on active duty in both Operations Desert Storm and Restore Democracy. In 2015, the National Guard Educational Foundation established the Hipp Heroes Scholarship, a fund based on the sales of his book, The New Terrorism: How to Fight and Defeat It. It's a comprehensive blueprint of American military strategy in the modern high-threat environment. 100% of the proceeds go to the scholarship in support of wounded guardsmen and of the children of lost guardsmen. The mission of the National Guard Educational Foundation is to tell the story of the National Guard and to educate our National Guardsmen, and this is paramount. Because of that unbreakable bond, and in recognition of the outstanding support he has given the National Guard Educational Foundation in direct donations to scholarships and in the major donor program, the Legion de Lafayette, we are delighted to present him with the Brigadier General William W. Spruance Legacy Award. Here to accept the award is the Honorable Van Hipp, Jr.
Thank you, Ann, for those very kind words. I am honored and deeply humbled to receive the General Bill Spruance Legacy Award. Working with the Guard has been my great privilege because it has been, most importantly, an inadequate way to express gratitude for the service, the spirit, and the sacrifice of America's soldiers and airmen. I had the privilege of first meeting General Bill Spruance as a young Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Army at an August conference back in 1991. He was a legend from his days as a young field artillery observer for General George S. Patton, and his pioneering work that led to the successful use of light aircraft in World War II, to his tireless efforts to promote aviation safety. He loved the Guard, and he was a mentor to many young Guardsmen, and he dedicated a great portion of his life to telling the National Guard story. And let me tell you, Telling the Guard story is an uniquely American story. The oldest units today in the United States military are National Guard units, and it's the only branch of the military whose existence is actually required by the United States Constitution. The concept of the citizen soldier goes back to the earliest days of our country, even before the American Revolutionary War. The citizen militia was also something our founding fathers insisted upon as far as the future security of the young republic was concerned. From Bunker Hill, Valley Forge, the Oregon Forest, Normandy, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, and Afghanistan, to name a few, and to the countless domestic emergencies, the Guard has always been ready and always been there. Yes, the story of the Guard is a story that must be told, and the National Guard Education Foundation is telling that story today. General Spruance believed, as I do, that education is a national security issue. A recent study found that 22% of millennials weren't sure if they knew what the Holocaust was, and some 67% had never heard of Auschwitz. And unfortunately, a recent study of over 40,000 American citizens by the Woodrow Wilson Foundation found that only one state in 50 had over 50% of its citizens who could even pass the U.S. citizenship exam. President Reagan reminded us that freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. He went on to say, we didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or we will one day spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States where men were free. Yes, education is a national security issue. We must tell the National Guard story, and we must tell the American story. The National Guard is the rock and the foundation of America's armed forces. Count on me. Count on me as a foot soldier for the National Guard, and count on me to keep telling the Guard story and the American story. Thank you for this honor, and God bless you all.
That was inspiring. Thank you, sir. Sit over here. If you can walk out, we'll go out to the front here, sir. Either way is fine. Right here, sir. We'll make sure this gets to you. I promise. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's such an honor to have you here, and thank you for your kind words. I agree with everything you said.
Thank you. Great being with you. Thanks.
Bravo. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
God bless.
Yes,
Thank you
appreciate
so
y'all.
much.